Okay. All right. Just trying to get this to stand up straight. It keeps moving. All right. Okay. I want to do a quick video. I wanted to do a video about 2 shows, but I cannot think what the second show is. So this video is just going to be about Marriage Boot Camp, Hip Hop Edition, this season. I'm not even sure what season it is or what episode we on, but I've been watching it since this season started. And on this season is Tahir, Vado, Corrupt, Tony. I'm gonna do it in a couple. Phasia and Medina. The guy from Day 26 and his wife. Willie and Sandra. It starts with an S. And I feel like I'm missing some. Oh, Hazel E. and Hubble. The reason why I wanted to do this video, because yesterday the clip of the show went viral. Everyone was putting in their 2 cents. Everyone has something to say. And the clip that's been circulating is the one with Tahir and Vado. I think that's how you pronounce his name. Vado released a statement saying how he's sorry that he ever put his hands on her. So I'm going to explain the video to you if you didn't see it. The video is only a clip of one small little, maybe 2 minutes of the episode. Not even 2 minutes. 1 minute, right? You don't see what happened prior, and you don't see what happened after. The clip just starts with Tahir saying, no one sees when he aggravates me and he provoked me to be the old Tahiri. And then Vado, he's sitting next to her. He gets up, and I thought maybe he was hitting her or choking her. But when I saw the actual episode, he was just grabbing on her shirt like that. All the other couples were sitting there. They only really showed Hazel E. and Hubble's face because she was the only one like moved. She was like, everyone else froze. No one moved. And then you see Dr. V comes over and grabs him and get him off of Tahiri. And then they walk off and he's mumbling. No one saw how she threw the apple at my face. And that's how it goes off. So everyone was going in on Vado. And I was like, Of course, no man should put his hands on anybody. And she did not hit him. She did not throw anything at him in that moment that I saw in the video. So I didn't see the whole thing, so I couldn't say which side I'm on. I'm still not on anybody's side, but I couldn't really make a comment or say how I felt about the situation. All I know was that a man should not put his hand on a woman, and I'm going to change that. Nobody, no one, man or female, should put their hand on no one else, man or female. It goes both ways. I don't feel like females should put their hand on a male and the male should put their hand on a female. So, I mean, it's bad. It looks really bad. And then he put out an apology saying that he lost his cool. He shouldn't put his hands on her. And I'm like, okay, but I still need to see that video. So I saw the video. I mean, I seen the episode. Now, I am a fan of Marriage Boot Camp. I seen all of the seasons of Marriage Boot Camp, and I know how it's set up, and I know the test that they give the couples. On this particular day, the couples was locked in a room, each couple by themselves. One had to be blindfolded, and the other one had to give directions. It was, if you ever did an escape room, that's how it was, but with a blindfold. So the person sits on the bed, you cannot move off the bed. So in the Tahir and Vado case, Tahir sat on the bed. No, who went first? Vado sat on the bed, I think, and Tahir wore the blindfold. And he had to tell her, He had to read the riddle. They had to figure out the answer and find out where the next clue was going to be. So he had to tell her how to walk, where to turn, what to lift up, what to open, what to grab, all of that. This exercise was about communication, because in a relationship, it's always poor. Sometimes it's poor communication, which leads to arguments and fights, and people could get frustrated. And it's the way you are communicating, and sometimes it's the way you are listening. So Dr. V had to find out how each couple was communicating incorrectly. So that's what this exercise was about. But of course, he doesn't tell people what the exercise is about. You just do the exercise and then you take it from there. So they kept arguing with each other. They kept trying to figure out the answers. Of course, the questions was related to their problems being there in the house. With Joe and Tahiri, it was about, Vado and Tahiri, it's about Vado saying that she's been with other dudes on reality shows, where he see how she engaged with them, and it's more loving, it's more doted on. She was doing a lot more than what he sees in their relationship. So he's saying he wants that Tahiri. But Tahiri is saying that Tahiri comes with baggage. It comes with problems. I don't want to be that Tahiri. I have evolved. I have moved on. I'm not that person. Plus, I was younger, and experiences changes a person. So this is who I am now. But he want her to be that person that he saw her with other dudes. Plus, he says he can't talk to her. She doesn't listen to him. So that's why he goes back and talks to his baby mother, which doesn't even make sense. It makes sense, but then it doesn't make sense. So, Tahiri's problem is that he doesn't listen to her. He doesn't express himself. She do not know what pisses him off. He's just angry. He shuts down. He doesn't say anything. So, that was her problem. So they get out the room, and then they go downstairs and they watch the other couples trying to get out the escape room. Then the second part to it is for what Dr. V understood was poor communication. He put on a card. So he showed Tahiri the 3 things that the way Vado communicates poorly. Every time he do only these 3 things for her to shock him. They give you a bracelet, and she holds the remote, so every time he do one of those 3 things, she gets to shock him. The 3 things was yelling, and I can't remember the other 2 things. Same thing with Vado. Dr. V shows Vado the 3 things, and then he gets to shock her every time she do one of the 3 things. One of the 3 things was yelling. I can't remember the other 2. They both got yelling. Tahiri also was walking away. So when they put on the bracelet, of course, each person do not know what's on the card. Now, it's more couples to this show, but I'm not talking about the other couples. This video is really only about Tahiri and Vado. So I'm just letting you know what happened throughout the day that led up to him grabbing her clothes and yoking her up. Okay? So all the couples is hanging out, whatever. Some of the couples, they all shocking each other. Of course, Vado and Tahiri is shocking one another. Both of them, Vado's very calm. And he's like, I know I'm being shocked because it's whatever on the card. But I don't know what's on the card. I don't know what I'm doing to get shocked. So that's how he's thinking. Tahiri is not even thinking that way. Tahiri is thinking, oh, you shocking me just because you want to. You're not playing it right. Now, she kept... And let me tell you, I never had a problem with Tahiri. I watched her on Love and Hip Hop. She was cool. She wasn't my favorite, but she was entertaining enough. And I don't really have any problems with her. But in this situation, she was very contradicting herself. She would tell all the other couples, yeah, he keeps zapping me, but I'm just going to trust the process, and I'm going to trust that I'm going to learn something at the end of the day, and it's the reason why I'm being shocked, so I'm not going to get upset. But then she turns around and get upset, and then don't understand why he's shocking her. He's shocking you because you're exhibiting the poor behavior that Dr. V says that you need to work on. So you need to try to figure out, when you get in zapped, what did you do so you don't do it? So people was talking to Phaedra and was like, Phaedra hasn't been shocked. Like, what's going on over there? And she was like, I'm in formation, honey. I'm going to be on my best behavior. I'm not trying to get shocked. I'm not trying to shock him. That's what you're supposed to do. But Tahiri's not doing that. She's getting more and more upset. And as she's getting upset, she is exhibiting the three things that's on the list. She keeps yelling. She was like, why are you zapping me? And then soon, after a while, Vado was like, because you're yelling. And she's like, but I'm not yelling. So then the whole cast started laughing because you were yelling that you're not yelling. And she just not getting it. So she's getting more and more and more upset. Then she takes the bracelet off. So then, of course, one of the castmates is like, didn't you just say you're going to trust the process, but then you're going to take the bracelet off? And she was like, no, because he's just shocking me just because I don't trust him. I trust the process, but I just don't trust him. So she's sitting there now, and now she's arguing with him. She's exhibiting all the things I was listed on the card. And Vado was like, you see, I could have zapped you like 600 times already because you're doing everything that's on the card. And she was like, but I don't understand why you zapping me. But he just told you. So she's not listening. She done check out. She's upset. They all moved into the kitchen. And this is where it gets worse. He's sitting at the table, and she's still yelling about the whole situation of being zapped and everything. So one of the other couples is like, but you took the bracelet off. No one else took the bracelet off but you, but then you're still yelling and arguing. Like, just stop already. And she was like, no, this is what he do all the time. He always wanted me to act this way. And she's yelling. So she picks up 2 green apples, and she's having the apples on the table, just yelling, da, da, da. And then she turns and throws it at them. One hit him on the face right here. Like, she, like with all her might, hit him right here, and the other one hit him somewhere on the body. He still didn't do nothing. He just sat there in shock. Like, I can't even believe she threw an apple at me. So then Dr. V calls them all into another room, because that's what they do on each episode. Like, after they finish doing all the exercises, he calls them in the room, and then the judge comes out, and then they both talk to the couples. So now he's telling them, like, did you realize why you're getting zapped? So he's going through each couple. He leaves Tahir and Vado last. So everyone is kind of figuring out why they're getting zapped, whatever. So then he goes to Tahir. Tahir doesn't know why. So he was like, do you know what the test was about, being locked in the room? So she was like, yeah, to see how we how we talk to each other. And then Dr. V said something else to her, and she was like, well, yeah, he goes, well, what do you think your problem is? And she was like, my problem is he want me to be the old Tahiri, and he do things to try to bring up the old Tahiri, and then no one sees how he is provoking me, and then I get all upset, and then I look like the crazy one. And then that's when he jumps up and started choking her, because he let her demean him, talk down to him. And that's what one of the problems she had with him, that he's quiet. Like, when she's talking to him, he doesn't say anything back. He does not, indulge in the conversation and going back and forth to find out new information or what's irritating you and how to fix it. He just doesn't say anything. So he just, I guess to me, that would be sweeping it under the rug. And then as you keep sweeping stuff, the rug gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then soon, when someone does something that doesn't even call for that type of energy, that's the energy you give, because you're letting everything build up. And people may not be around for the parts where things is building up, like how when they was in the room locked together and the stuff she was saying and doing in there and acting a fool and all that stuff. And it was just too much. And this is what I want to say in this video. I know a few ladies, and I've seen a few ladies where They get in the man's face and they cursing and have their fingers all in the face and just agitating the person, poking the bear, poking the bear, poking the bear. I dare you to hit me. I dare you. You can't hit me. I'm a girl. Just poke, 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 poke. And then when a guy loses it and hit the girl, now the guy's in trouble. Now the guy's getting arrested. Now the guy is the bad person, and people forget all the little things that leads up to that point. I'm not saying that he had a reason to yoke her up, or any man has a reason to hit anybody. There's no reason to hit anybody. Nobody deserves a reason. But when you're in a relationship or you have a friend that's like that, and you know that friend is constantly poking you, poking the bear, and you're trying to avoid it and you feel it bubbling up, that's when you have to dead the situation. You have to end this relationship. I do not think Tahir and Vado needs to be together. They should not be in a relationship. It just doesn't fit for them. The two personalities and I don't understand, because they've been friends for years and then they decided to go, see if they could do boyfriend and girlfriend. I don't understand why he didn't realize what type of person she was before even getting in a relationship. But that type of situation is not helpful for anybody. And Vado's personality is not to engage, not to say anything, because he doesn't want a situation like this to happen. But when you avoid stuff like this, it just adds on and adds on. And then when something really small happens, you just lose it and you can't control yourself. And that's very unhealthy. Someone could get hurt, someone could die, someone could go to jail. You could lose everything. And that's not healthy. So people, when you see stuff on the internet, don't just jump to the conclusion and make comments on what you see firsthand. You have to see the whole picture. And for me, I feel like Tahiri's in the wrong and Vado's in the wrong. Because once he start feeling that boiling up, and one of the cast members seen it when they was when Dr. V called him in the room at the end, they was like, yo, Vado is still mad. Because they called him in the room right after she threw the apple at him. And I felt like production should have called Tahiri out at that point. Because hitting and fighting is not acceptable. Because when Willie and Hazel E. Boo fought, they pulled them apart. They said fighting is not acceptable. If you do it again, you're going to get kicked out, right? That goes for everybody. And when Tahiri threw that apple, that's when she should have got kicked out. It should have been a wrap for her. They should have sent her home. That's when it should have been shut down on Tahiri. Because you cannot control your emotion enough to just talk to somebody calmly without yelling and cursing and throwing things. You're a child. That's what children do. When they can't communicate, when they can't express themselves, when they're agitated and frustrated, they start throwing things and getting a temper tantrum. And that's what Tahiri was doing in that kitchen with those apples. Yelling and acting a fool. You already took off the bracelet to get zapped. So why are you still mad? Why are you still popping off? He's not giving you no energy. And the sad part about it is that when he went outside to get some air, he was talking to Corrupt's wife, Tony, and Hazel E's boyfriend. I cannot remember his name. And Tony told him, you want to know why Tahiri did that? Because she was trying to get a rise out of you. She was trying to, because he's so lackadaisical and he's not rah-rah and he's not talking to her. He's not expressing his feelings or the situation or whatever's making him mad. So then she acts like this. And she tries to wrap it around, oh, he acts that way for me to act this way because this is the way he wants. But this is not what he wanted. He wants how you was affectionate and giving the way he saw you on TV. And he said that and he expressed that. But what Tahiri hears is, when I was on TV, I was also popping up and acting crazy and fighting and causing problems. So that's the Tahiri he wants. That's not what he wants because he's so laid back. No laid back person wants someone that is a tick, 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 boom person. So Tony was telling Vado, because you did not give her that energy, she kept on. She kept on. She kept on. She kept getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And you can't just walk away and not respond because she's going to still keep doing it. And then when you respond, She got the energy she wants, so now she's going to continue to do it. It's not a win-win situation. That's why they need to end the relationship. I hope they're not together, because one, I blame we, because once they saw that situation escalating and she was in that kitchen yelling and acting a fool, Dr. V should have walked in there and shut the whole thing down. And if he feels like he didn't have to and he wanted to see where the argument was going to go, soon as she threw the apple at him, he could have had a concoction. They should have grabbed her little butt and kicked her off the show. Because after Willie and Hazel E. boyfriend fought, his thing is, if you fight again, you're kicked out. You know? Another person that needs to be kicked off the show is Corrupt and Tony. But that's a whole different video, because that one's about alcohol abuse. But in this one, it's about physical abuse, verbal abuse. And that's basically what it is. And Tahair has a problem. And I know people that's like that wants to always get a certain type of energy out of people, so they act like that. And the more and more that you're lackadaisical and aloof, the more crazy they're going to get. And then when you do lose it, now they want you to match their energy. So now they keep on going. They're never going to stop. Until I don't know when. But this situation is not healthy. And I feel like Vado was in the wrong. Tahair definitely was in the wrong. And WeTV was in the wrong. And Dr. V should have stepped in faster, sooner, when she threw the apple. So that's my video about the episode and about people commenting and trying to put everything on Vado. And it's no excuse to hit somebody. It's no excuse to be verbally abusive to somebody. It's no excuse to be mentally abusive to somebody. It's no excuse for that. And I just hope they get the help that they could get. And honestly, I don't see it for them. They definitely, it's a few couples on this show that I definitely think should not be together. And they are one of them. So this is my video, Q Brown, about marriage boot camp, about Tahira and Vado. Have a nice day.